John Dewey, a very well-known American philosopher, psychologist, educational reformer, founder of pragmatism, father of functional psychology, and educational progressivism. Now, let's look at his major accomplishments and contribution to the field of education. Dewey started at University of Chicago and later moved to Columbia University in New York, where he spent most of his career. He had many academic accomplishments after earning his PhD, including over a dozen books and over 30 publications on society, education, and learning. His philosophy is known as pragmatism. He is very famous for combining philosophy with current social issues. He emphasized the importance of democracy and how education influences, upholds, and promotes democracy in society. Now, let us look at how we incorporate Dewey's ideas into teaching practices. Number 1, PBL, Project-Based Learning, or also known as Project-Based Instruction, which is an instructional approach designed to give students the opportunity to develop knowledge and skill through engaging projects set around challenges and problems they may face in the real world. Number 2, hands-on activities. Students work together and foster teamwork skills. Hands-on learning improves their cognitive understanding of the subject material and social skills. Number 3, inquiry-based learning is actually a learning process that engages students by making real-world connection through exploration and high-level questioning. Number 4, real-world connection. Draw from or upon actual objects, events, experiences, or situation to effectively address a concept or problem or issues. It involves learning allows students to actually experience or practice concepts and skill. Number 5, a collaboration or cooperative learning approach, which involves people working together on activities or learning tasks in a small group, which ensure that everybody participates. Last but not least, we have critical thinking, which involves a wide range of thinking skill leading towards desirable outcomes, and reflective thinking focuses on the process of making judgments about what has happened. Dewey's educational theories were presented in these writings. In 1897, My Pedagogic Creed. In 1900, The School and Society. In 1902, The Child and the Curriculum. 1916, Democracy and Education. And in 1938, Experience and Education. And if you look at the aims of education, it focuses on social efficiency. Education is life. Education is experience. And education should combine theory and practice. As you can see, the 4 principles of education: learning by doing, discussion, interactive, and interdisciplinary. Now let us look at theories and philosophy. The first one is instrumentalism or pragmatism. His philosophy was actually rooted in pragmatism, which asserted that the value of any idea or theory is determined by its practical consequences. Dewey believed that education should prepare individuals for active participation in the democratic society by emphasizing problem solving and critical thinking. Number 2, experiential learning. He emphasized the importance and significance of learning through direct experience. Dewey always believed that students should engage in hands-on, meaningful activities to understand concepts and to develop skills. Experiences that are connected to students' interests and daily life are more likely to be meaningful and education. Number 3, social interaction. Dewey stressed the importance of social interaction in learning process. He believed that education should reflect the social nature of learning and that students learn best in community setting. Cooperation learning, group projects, and interactive discussion are consistent with his ideas about the social dimension of education. As he quoted, "Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself." Dewey's in conclusion. Dewey's philosophy of education has had a profound impact on educational practice around the world. His ideas continue to influence educators and policymakers today. Dewey's policy of education is a powerful force for positive change in education. His ideas continue to inspire educators and policymakers to create schools that are more relevant, engaging, and effective for all students. Dewey's ideas have been influential in the development of progression education, a movement that emphasizes children-centered learning, experiential learning, and social reform. Progressive education has been adopted by many schools around the world, and it continues to be a popular approach for education today. Now let us look at another American thinker, Lawrence Kohlberg. Lawrence Kohlberg was an American psychologist best known for his theory of stages of moral development. In his unpublished 1958 dissertation, Kohlberg described what are now known as Kohlberg's stages of moral development. These stages are planes of moral adequacy, conceived to explain the development of moral reasoning. Created while he was studying psychology at the University of Chicago, the theory was inspired by the work of Jean Piaget and a fascination with children's reaction to moral dilemmas. Kohlberg proposed a form of Socratic model education and reaffirmed John Dewey's idea that development should be the aim of education. He also outlined how educators can influence moral development without indoctrination and how public school can be engaged in moral education consistent with the United States Constitution. Lawrence Kohlberg's stages of moral development. Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development is one of the most influential and widely studied theories in the field of developmental psychology. Kohlberg proposed that individual progresses through 6 distinct stages of moral reasoning from infancy to adulthood. These stages are grouped into 3 levels. The first one is known as pre-conventional, from the age of 3 to 7 years old, whereby they develop avoiding punishment, self-interest, also known as moral reasoning based on reward and punishment. The second stage is conventional, from the age to 8 to 13 years old, where moral reasoning based on external ethics, such as good boy attitude and law and order morality. And the last one is post-conventional, where the child reaches adulthood, whereby they have moral reasoning based on personal ethics, such as social contract and principle. Now let us look at Kohlberg's stages of moral development. As mentioned, there are 3 levels. Level 1, pre-conventional morality. At this level, individuals' moral reasoning is based on external factors, such as avoiding punishment or receiving rewards. And in stage 1, obedience and punishment orientation. Stage 2, instrumental purpose orientation. Level 2, conventional morality. At this level, individuals' moral reasoning is based on conformity to social norms and expectation. Stage 3, good interpersonal relationship orientation. Stage 4, maintaining the social order orientation. Next, level 3, post-conventional morality. At this level, individuals' moral reasoning is based on abstract principle of justice and fairness. Stage 5, social contract orientation. Stage 6, universal ethical principles orientation. Kohlberg's influence in education. It promotes discussions of moral dilemmas. It encouraged role-playing and simulation. It also provides opportunities for community service. And lastly, it teaches about the different ethical frameworks. In conclusion, Kohlberg believed that individuals progress through these stages in a fixed order, and that moral understanding is linked to cognitive development. However, his theory has been criticized for its lack of cross-cultural generalizability and its only focus on male development. Despite these limitations, Kohlberg's theory remained an important contribution to our understanding of moral development. Let us look at the next thinker, Charles Sanders Peirce. He is an American scientist, logician, and a philosopher who is noted for his work on the logic relation and on pragmatism as a method of research. Peirce's pragmatism was first elaborated in a series of illustrations of the logic science in the Popular Science Monthly in 1877 till 1878. Peirce is now recognized as the most original and the most versatile intellect that the Americans have so far produced. The recognition was slow in coming, however, and much of his work is still known on to specialties, each grasping a small part of it, severed of its connection with the rest. Even his pragmatism is viewed in relation to the other pragmatists rather than the other part of his own work. Charles Sanders Peirce and John Dewey were two of the most prominent figures in the development of pragmatism, a philosophical movement that emphasizes the practical consequences of ideas and beliefs. While they shared many common beliefs, there were also important differences in their approaches to pragmatism. Let's look one by one. Peirce's pragmatism was primarily concerned with the nature of truth. He believed that the meaning of concept is determined by its practical consequences. In other words, a belief is true if it leads to successful action. This led him to develop a theory of truth known as pragmatism. Now, let's look at Dewey. On the other hand, he was more interested in the role of experience in shaping our belief and values. He believed that truth is not fixed properties of ideas, but rather a matter of ongoing inquiry and testing. Despite their differences, Peirce and Dewey shared a common belief in the importance of pragmatism as a way of understanding and improving the world. Their ideas continue to be relevant today as we face a world of complex challenges and rapid change. Pragmatism in a glimpse. Pragmatics is the study of relationship between linguistic forms and the users of those forms. Now let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of pragmatism in education. If you look at advantage 1, it's a real-world relevance. The second advantage, it is a holistic development for the student. Advantage 3 is an experiential learning. Let's look at some of the example. Experiential learning, learning by doing. Problem-based learning, project-based learning, and technology integration. Let us look into Peirce's methodologies in educational setting, from preschool up to colleges and universities. Let's look at preschool first. It's to create preschools that are child-centered and play-based. Next, moving on to elementary school, whereby to create elementary school that are inquiry-based and project-based. Next, middle schools, whereby to create middle schools that are interdisciplinary and collaborative. For high schools, it's to create high schools that are focused on critical thinking and problem solving. And lastly, colleges and universities, to create college and universities that are research-based and student-centered. Pragmatism in conclusion. Pragmatism emphasizes the importance of experience, so teachers should provide students with opportunities to learn through hands-on activities. Pragmatism emphasizes the importance of problem solving, so teachers should provide students with opportunities to solve real-world problems. This might involve students working on case studies, participating in stimulation, or doing research projects. With reference on these two activities carried out in our preschool, We can see that teachers providing students with opportunities to connect what they are learning to the real world. And pragmatism can help students develop the skills and knowledge they need to be successful in life. Overall, Charles-Sanders Peirce's work has had a profound impact on contemporary educational methodologies. His ideas of semiotics, inquiries, and the nature of realities have helped to shape a wide range of innovative approaches to teaching and learning. As we continue to face the challenges of the 21st century, Peirce's work remains a source of inspiration for educators who are seeking to create more meaningful and effective learning experiences for all students.